You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 79. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, what is the worst thing in horror movies? Jump scares, torture porn, or bad effects? Jason, of the three, what's the worst one you can think of? Jay?
I'm not used to you calling me Jason, so it kind of threw me.
Sorry. Threw you off.
But, I'm wanting to say, probably like the torture porn, because some of that shit, I mean, it's just, I don't know, boring.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of pointless. I mean,
it's just, I mean, at some point, it's just like, okay, we get it. You're ripping someone apart slowly but surely. We've kind of seen this before. Let's move it along.
Yeah, I mean, the first Saw, maybe the second one was good, but I mean, they played out real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're on, what, the 8th or 9th or whatever the fuck it is, getting ready to come out.
Yeah. And they rebooted it probably at some point or another, so, yeah. So, our special guest for the evening is my friend Chris Lake. Chris, of the three, which is the worst thing about horror movies? Jump scares, torture porn, or bad effects?
I would say bad effects. Because if you see the bad effects, it kind of pulls you out from the movie itself, and you just kind of, it's hard to get back into it. At least from my perspective.
Perfectly acceptable answer. Yeah.
Hard to suspend your disbelief if what you're seeing on there looks absolutely fake.
Yeah, because at some point, when it gets bad enough, at some point it kind of. Unless you're really expecting it, or it's supposed to, it really starts to drift into that comedy era because we'll talk about that here in a second because I've got a perfect example of this.
Yeah, you don't want to be laughing in the middle of a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go with Jay on the torture porn stuff. That just I'm not a big guy on scary movies anyway, but the torture porn stuff is just, to me, it just is too much. Like, it's like, okay, it's a little too over the top. Yeah, but of the three things, because I mean, I can stand a few bad effects, but I see what you're saying. Sometimes when the effects are that bad, you're just like, nope, I'm done. This is no longer scary at all. This is basically a comedy. So
yeah, it's just one of those mystery science theater 3000. Exactly.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about our list of our top 5 scariest movies. Now these can be scary movies for whatever reason. They personally scared you. They scared you when you were a little kid. You still find them to be creepy or eerie or whatever. So we're going to start with a number 5 and work our way up. So would anyone like to go first? Anyone would like to volunteer their number 5 first?
Sure.
All right, Jay, what is your number 5 scariest movie?
I didn't do them in like any kind of order of which one was worse for me, but I still remember the movie Silver Bullet. That was made after the Stephen King book with Corey Haim in the wheelchair, and yeah, that I think I was maybe 5, 4, something like that when it came out. But I still remember watching it as a little kid, and the scene where they're in the fog in the middle of the woods kind of freaked me out when I was little, and inside the church when he's having that nightmare and everybody starts turning into werewolves and breaking through the casket and shit. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out when I was little. Now, or not long after, it didn't scare me, and I like to watch it just for nostalgia reasons, but it freaked me the fuck out when I was little.
Yeah, I vaguely remember parts of that movie. I was actually that movie is actually really hard to try to find, at least the last time I looked for it. I was going through a phase where I was trying to um, watch a bunch of Stephen King's movies and stuff, and I was going through especially like the horror stuff, and some of them are really hard to find. That one's hard to find, and so was the movie version they did of Salem's Lot. Those two, for some reason, are just hard to find. Like they don't stream them. You can't hardly buy them. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah.
I thought they had Silver Bullet. It was last year, like late last year, early this year, but I thought it was on Netflix.
It might have been, like I said, it's been a while since I was kind of in that phase. This is back when I was reading I was doing like pretty much all of the Dark Tower series, and I was trying to hit all the other books as well. So, chat room is killing me. If you're listening to this afterwards, I'm sure hopefully it sounds fine. Trying to watch it live, it's not working out so well, so that kind of sucks. Anyway, Chris, what is your number 5 scariest movie?
My number 5 is probably The Fly from 1986 with Jeff Goldblum.
Good one. That one freaked me out as a kid.
It's it's got that. It's just that gross factor. We were just talking about special effects and if they're not good, it kind of ruins the movie. Yeah. Well, the special effects in this one, it was just, especially when you made that final transformation at the end. Yeah. That stuff that'll stay with you forever. And as a matter of fact, when we go to Disney World, there's a Planet Hollywood there, and Planet Hollywood has movie memorabilia, and one of the things they have there is the puppet model of The Fly, and just seeing that made me lose my appetite. That's how bad it's affected me my entire life. And I must have seen that movie probably about 20 years ago. So.
What's funny is the chat room right now is probably getting bits and pieces of the conversation. So they're getting like, oh man, that movie really messed me up as a kid. And then just breaks. And then the next time it comes back in, it's like, yeah, that movie messed me up. So they have no idea what movie we're talking about. My number 5 is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And it's not scary. It's more so eerie. And it's just because I really put myself into the movie when I watch it. And that's the original 1968 version of Night of the Living Dead. I know we just lost George Romero, which sucks. And even though the movie does have some things in it about the zombies that, didn't carry on, like at one point they pick up some different objects and are like banging on windows and doors and stuff, and traditionally, they can't use weapons or they can't figure anything out. That's where we got the original slow moving zombie. And the thing about it that's so eerie to me, besides that end scene where like it does this weird psychedelic effect whenever like the kid is killing the mom, it's just very slow moving, and it's this build up of this idea that more and more of these things are like coming, and there's no stopping it, and like there's no sight in the end. Whereas like most of the movies that do zombies now want to do fast moving zombies, so that's the thing. They chase you down, and it's just this idea of these overwhelming numbers that slowly but surely they're going to eventually get in. It's just a question of when and everything else. I love that movie.
Very claustrophobic.
Yes, and I guess that's the sense that I'm getting. I guess that's what causes it to be so eerie for me, is that claustrophobic feeling of you're stuck in a house, and even though they get out at one point, it's just like out and back in, and then there's no real way out that they can see. So, all right, Jay, what is your next one on your list?
Oh shit! Yeah, so I would probably go with Poltergeist.
Good one.
I mean, the original 2, very scary. I mean, movie, especially being as young as I was at the time. Just I don't know, just eerie, still creepy fucking movies. I mean, some of the parts of it still kind of, when I'm thinking about to my childhood, still some scenes just straight from those movies pop in my head first thing. But yeah, I mean, there's a house not right next to me, but right down the road from me that when you look at the side of the house, it looks just like the Amityville house. And growing up and driving down past that always kind of fucked with me when I was little.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that was always a little bit of a terrifying movie for me.
Did you know the Poltergeist movies were actually PG?
Are you serious?
That was before PG-13 came out. Yep.
Oh my God! Are they still labeled as such, or have they gone back and relabeled them, or do you know?
No, they're still PG. And also, did you know too that at the end when the bodies were coming out of the ground and the house and everything else, those are real cadavers they were using.
I heard about that,
and that's why a lot of people were saying that the movie was cursed, because they were using. Apparently, it was cheaper to use real bodies than it was to make the fabricated ones. So what you see on screen supposedly real.
There's a shitload of stuff that was going around about the Poltergeist movies, accidents, and
a lot of people dying.
Yeah, a lot of shit happening on set, stuff actually moving, and I mean, they had a whole documentary on the Poltergeist curse. So, I mean,
yeah, those movies were. I remember. I think I know I've seen the first one. I don't know if I've seen any other ones, but the first one is still eerie. The
clown.
the clown's pretty freaky. Yeah,
yep.
I'm not scared of clowns. I give a fuck less about clowns, but growing up, I never thought it was scary. I thought the clown and Poltergeist was fucking freaky.
Yeah. What's your next one, Chris?
My next one is 7.
Oh,
the one with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, and that one's not necessarily scary. It's just the creepy vibe, especially the scene where they get to the sloth and the guy's laying in the bed, and you think when they pull the sheep back that he's dead. And then the SWAT guy gets real close, and then the body gasps for air and sits up, and that right there, I mean, that's just enough to freak with you. At least for me, anyway, because you're thinking, well, he's dead, and then when he moves, it just surprises the hell out of you.
The one in the movie that really got me was Lust, because you don't ever see anything.
But they describe.
But when he starts describing it, it's that is very masterfully done. It's one of those times where you don't see anything. It's just it's what your brain fills in, and what your brain fills in is just horrific.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then at the end too, when what's in the box, and Brad Pitt keeps asking, "What's in the box? What's in the box?"
Yeah.
And it's just heart wrenching because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I still use that line all the time. Anytime there's a box, I'm like, "What's in the box?" Yeah. They're still raking me over the coals, and I can't do anything, guys. I'm trying to get it going working. Maybe I need to talk to Spectrum. My number 4 is Fire in the Sky. Now, Jay, I know you specifically because it was brought up in the pre-show stuff. I know you said you didn't find that movie scary. That movie freaked the hell out of me. At that time in my life, I was like watching a lot of shows, like talking about abductions and stuff like that. One of the parts though that just really freaked me out though is when the one guy comes back and he's like cowering underneath the table, and the like someone's knocked over honey or whatever, and when just the drop of honey hits him, he has that flashback and starts screaming. That freaked the hell out of me.
The flashback. What about the flashback itself?
Oh, the flashback itself was pretty horrendous, but just yeah.
I don't know. That just never. I don't know. Did anything for me. I haven't really found any kind of alien movies or anything like that were, scary like that. But I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Some things scare some people. Some that freaked the hell out of me. So, but what's your number 3 on your list, or the next one on your list, Jay?
The Gate.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I remember that one.
It's got Steven Dorff in it. He was real young, like 1987.
Okay, yeah.
But there's like they pull up a tree in his backyard, and like in the hole, he like throws something, a stick that, like a splinter or something. Well, the blood in the hole, and he buried his dog outside, like just like summons fucking demons into the house. I mean, it was a real fucking freaky movie. I mean, just all the shit that went on, and the movie, like at one point he's sitting there trying to hide from the fucking devil or whatever you want to call it, the creature coming from the hole in the floor in this house, and he looks down and like there's an eyeball in the center of his hand staring at him. There's like all this writing shit that appears on the wall, and I mean, it was just, it's like you watch it now, it's, this effects and shit are like B level, but
yeah,
I mean, I was fucking 7 then. It was it's a creepy ass movie, and these little fucking CGI creatures that, fucking ran around his house. I mean, of course it looks dumb now, but it's scary as shit whenever I was little.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one. That's another honoring mention I gotta add on here real quick. Yeah, you just reminded me of something. Anyway, all right, Chris, what's your next one on your list?
Jaws. Oh
yes.
Still to this day, I have to check twice before I get in the water. And anything I feel brushed against me, always makes me think back to that movie.
So let me guess, you are not up for that thing that the Alamo Drafthouse does in Austin, where
where you're sitting in Lake Travis and you're watching the movie, no way in hell would I do that.
There's no way in hell I would ever do that. Jay, have I told you about that?
Yeah, I've seen like they had pictures online and video and shit of that going on.
No.
That's
no way.
one of...
I think.
What were you say, Chris?
Oh no, I was saying I think after I saw the movie, I didn't even want to take a bath.
Oh yeah,
in the bathtub.
No, it didn't have that kind of effect on me, but it's still one of my. That was still one of the reasons I don't want to really go in the ocean.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, I would probably still do, sit out there in the lake or whatever and fucking watch it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the slightest little move, a fucking fish swim between my legs or something, would probably freak me the fuck out. But yeah, but I actually think that would be fun.
See, there's a certain level of scary I go up to, and then past that, I'm like, nope, and that's in the nope area for me. So, Born Distracted in the chat room says Orca was scary. I remember that. That movie freaked me out.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Yeah. The next one on my list, I didn't actually watch until I was much older, and I mainly went back and watched it for just as like a just kind of experience. Like I said, I don't think I'd really watched it as a kid, and that is the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
that movie like really does hold up, especially the special effects. The one that I don't really find it scary. It's just it has that eerie feeling. But the thing that just floors me about that movie is, that was all before any digital effects or whatever. And if you go back and watch the documentaries and stuff, that scene where he pulls the kid through the through the mattress, and then just the shower of blood. Yeah, when they pull him through, they actually built that room, turned it upside down, and just poured water into it, which is how they got that effect. And I'm just like, the amount of level that they had to do to get that shot is insane. Like there's no way in hell we would ever do that nowadays. Like that, if you tried to say we're going to do this practical effect, they'd be like, nope, that's going to cost too much money. But back then it's like, yeah, let's try it. Let's see if we can do it. So,
well, that was before computer generated effects, so they didn't have a choice.
Oh, really, Jay? Okay. Your comment in the chat. I don't think Dory was that scary. Jay, what's your next one on your list?
I guess had it in my head. Probably no one has fucking seen it. A movie called Cellar Dweller.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It was, I can't remember. It was old, 19, like 84, 85, somewhere around then. 88, I was wrong. I had to look that up. But this guy writes a comic book, and of like this big fucking creature, big, tall, furry creature. It has like a pentagram carved in his chest, and he gets angry with people, and he'll like start, drawing the comic, and like it's eating somebody, like his fucking publicist or his ex-wife, and like it comes to life and starts acting out the pages, that he's drawing. And I just remember setting up my friend Zach's house in the back room where they had like an extra TV and his dad's comic book stash, but is on the very back of the house, had this big picture window right behind where the couch was sitting, and it just faced out to the woods. And his dad knew we were watching that fucking movie and just came out there and just jumped onto the window, scared the shit out of us. When I had to have been like 8, so. But yeah, I mean, that movie just, for the time and for the age, it was terrifying. I don't think I've watched it since I was probably 10 or 12, so
right.
I doubt it will hold up, but yeah, I mean, I'm probably sure you could probably find the trailer on YouTube if you.
I may have to do that,
but yeah, it was scary for the time.
Yeah, I may have to look that one up. I've never even heard of that movie. What was it called again?
Cellar Dweller.
Cellar Dweller. Okay.
Yeah, great title, by the way, too.
Oh yeah. What's the next one on your list, Chris?
Well, nowadays every movie's the found lost footage, and it's kind of beating a dead horse right now. But the first one was Blair Witch Project back in when that came out in 2000. I guess it was 2000, 2001, something like that. And just the stuff they didn't show, that was probably more creepy than if they had actually shown stuff on screen.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember my wife and I, we saw it together, and when we got back home, she was scared to go use the bathroom, so I went with her. But then she left me, and so I was like, Ruth, where are you at? Come back. So we were at my mother-in-law's house at the time. It was dark, and we couldn't just switch the lights on or whatever. So, but yeah, we were both a little creeped out from that one. And then at the way that it ended, just like that, and then poof, it was the credits. Yeah. But still, I think that was the way it was done, and like I said before, they started beating the found footage to death. I mean, it was a unique way to show it, and they did it on a small budget and made so much money, obviously. But I thought that was a pretty good scary movie for the way they did it.
I never got any of the creep factor out of that movie because I didn't see it till much later. I had my brother and I think a couple of my friends, I know at least one of my other friends, got a bootleg copy of it and watched the bootleg. And of course I was interested. I'm like, so how was it? Was it really scary? They're like, no, like, I think it was a really bad bootleg. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, it kept shaking.
People walking across the screen.
It kept shaking. No, they're like, it kept shaking and the sound was just okay.
No,
and
that was the movie.
That's what he said. He said he ended up going to see the movie. He goes, actually, no, it was a really good bootleg.
Yeah, that was a movie.
But like you said, that was before we started beating the whole, found footage thing to death. So
yeah.
No, that's hilarious. My next one is a movie that I still find it. What's funny is it's one of those movies that started off as a horror movie and then changed gears and has become something else. The Alien, the first Alien movie, was scary as shit. And I think I had a conversation with you about this, Jay, that what you would like, or maybe it was someone else, but I thought it was you, that what you'd like to see out of an Alien movie from here on out is getting back to that roots. One alien, you don't really see it. It's more so the suspense of, where is it? Where could it be or whatever. Because I know this last one I've heard good and bad about, and leading up to this, of course, hasn't been that great. But
you haven't seen Alien Covenant yet?
I have not seen Covenant yet. No.
Well, that's what me, you, and Ray were talking about. Was Alien Covenant, and whether we thought it was as, good as its predecessors, which it was. Whenever it just tried to focus on Alien and not be Prometheus, like 2, it was, I thought, pretty good. But then it had big moments of a Prometheus follow up, and that's where it lost it.
Yeah, Prometheus.
I like Covenant. I mean, there was a few. I'm not going to spoil it since you haven't seen it, but there was a few fallacies that just don't make sense. Especially if you're in a foreign world, walking around. They didn't take some preventative measures. I mean, that's just. It would be, to me, it'd be common sense not to do something like that. But, and you see, for me, I thought Prometheus was at least entertaining. It was, made you think. It made you try to connect the dots of, well, how are we going to get from here to the original Alien? And I was interested to see how Ridley Scott was going to move from there. Now, maybe, granted, they kind of weighted down and it dragged a little bit about the engineer legacy and stuff like that. But I found Covenant entertaining.
So, I mean, I got it on Blu-ray, so I mean, obviously
you really thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it enough to but yeah. And it goes quiet.
Oh, are we still here?
Yeah, did Eugene fall off?
Oh, there he is.
Did I drop out? Did it completely freeze?
Yeah.
Now you're
it
back.
dropped.
Well,
it dropped a little bit. Yeah.
Seriously, I think it completely froze.
Your image is frozen, but I still hear your voice, so you're good. At least in that aspect.
Okay, I can't hear anything.
You can't hear us? Oh God, I was hoping he'd answer. No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Was it Bright? No, he's with Sprint now, isn't he? Can you hear me now, guy?
Yeah. He jumped shark.
Yeah, he sure did. I guess Verizon wasn't paying him enough.
I work for Verizon. No, they don't pay enough. As much money as they make now.
Well, that's true. Look, Eugene Stevens left.
Okay, apparently I dropped out.
Yes,
apparently I dropped out somehow, and now I came back. I don't know what the hell happened there. All right. Great. One more thing. I'm sorry, Jay. I was asking, what do you think is the scariest? Is your scariest movie?
I'm trying to think of another good one from my childhood. I definitely know. I mean, it's a movie I love to watch around Halloween. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but it was nowhere near terrifying. But I love that movie. I'm thinking Stephen King's The Thing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because, I mean, it had some good practical effects and was, you guess, creepy as shit. And some of the things that it turned into, the mutilation or the mutations was just, terrifying.
John Carpenter's The Thing?
Yeah, John Carpenter.
Yes, John Carpenter.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah.
I was going through my list and I went over, Pet Cemetery and fucking a couple of the other ones, Christine, which, I didn't honestly think that was scary, but
I didn't really find Christine that scary either.
Children of the Corn. No, that was a
eerie.
little.
That was
a little fucked up.
A little creepy.
But no, John Carpenter's The Thing. Sorry, but I mean, it was good. The remake was. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And it's got the guy that plays Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones. He's in it as well. So which I did not realize until, here last couple of weeks when it was back on TV.
Okay. Chris, what is your scariest movie?
My scariest is Exorcist. I saw that one.
I can tell you right now, that was my number one too.
I saw that when I was, I think, 17, 18 maybe, and I had heard the, it was frightening and everything else, but I figured, I saw it with a group of friends. But man, after watching it and some of the things that, some of the imagery and things she said, that freaked me out for a long time.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
And being an adult watching it, just the whole, stigma with playing the Ouija board and being possessed and just like I said, and the things she did, especially what she did with that crucifix, that was that was like, I couldn't believe that they actually put that on film.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty bad.
Oh, that's
so
that par for the course.
Yeah, that'd be, and even though some of the effects in it, what was that movie made? 74, 73, I think. So some of the effects in there were just kind of cheesy, but just the thought of itself was enough to make you think and, turn on the light before you went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And see, that was another one that, is notorious for being considered scary that didn't do anything for me.
Really?
I know it terrified my mother whenever she said that she watched it originally and, was afraid to go to the bathroom for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like my dad had to follow around that. But, whenever I watched it, I think I was maybe 15, 16, something like that. And sat down with my sister and my dad, and I was actually laughing at it. And,
of course you would be sick.
I guess I didn't find it scary. I mean, just, I don't know. There's just nothing that I found scary about it. I mean, I don't know if it's because all the other shit I watched in my life,
I mean, like that's what we said. Some things freak some people out. Some things don't, bother us at all. So.
Yeah, and I mean, now other movies like, in their newer, they're kind of like a creep factor, like The Conjuring and shit like that. Some of those are kind of creepy, but I can't honestly remember the last time I was scared at a movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, that leads us to some of our honorary mentions, I guess to say. So if you've got any of the ones you want to throw out there that, even if they just made you jump or something like that, some of the ones I wanted to throw out there, I was quite young. I mean, I was still young whenever the original Ghostbusters came out, and we went and watched it in the theater. And the scene specifically, the part where Sigourney Weaver is talking on the phone, and the hands come out and grab her, and then the thing about that freaked me out the most. Number one, the terror dog by itself is pretty freaky, but my brother and I were both scared, and for whatever reason, my mom got the bright idea that to help sleep at night, she would leave the closet light on. So I woke up in the middle of the night and I just see this glow around the door, just like was in the fucking movie. And I'm just like, this is not a good idea. Couple other movies that made me jump. Signs. There's that one part where they're like watching the video and you see the alien walk by real quick. That got me a little bit. The Sixth Sense. And the thing about that movie that made me jump is that scene where he gets up in the middle of the night and it's just the shot of the little boy standing there peeing, and you just see the woman walk by, and that's it. That's all there is. But everyone in the fucking theater jumped. Yep. And then going back to when I was a little kid, Gremlins freaked me out as a kid.
That was another one rated PG that should have been at least PG-13.
Especially the scene when they start, where she starts talking about what happened to her dad, how her dad dies, and doing Santa Claus thing. Like,
yep.
we had a conversation about that. That movie is kind of a horror comedy, and then that just gets like very fucking dark all of a sudden.
Yep.
And then another movie that scared me, at least as a little kid, was the scene in the corn. Scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
What was it?
You were scared of E.T.
I was scared of E.T.
I still have watched that movie.
Scene. I still can't believe you've never seen that movie. So.
Yeah, I had on my honorable mention. I had God damn it! I guess lost it. The Halloween movies. They were kind of, one of those jump up and scare you. When I was little, not so much anymore. Child's Play was kind of creepy. For my age, and I always loved the show, but it had a lot of creepy factors. Was Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt had some good stories on it.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, yeah, all those were, I'm trying to think of anything else, but there's just nothing.
Chris, do you have any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, that's creepy.
That was creepy, and then of course it won a lot of awards and made Anthony Hopkins a household name after that. I didn't really see all of the second one. I mean, I know what happens at the end, where he's feeding him his own brain, and I didn't see the third one, but the first one, just all in all, it was a good story, and just the atmosphere, just creeps you out. And then of course Anthony Hopkins did such a great job as Hannibal Lecter. I think he deserved getting that award. But all the other ones on my honorable mention list have already been discussed. I had the thing on there as well too with just the effects, and then that one scene where he's trying to use the defibrillator on the guy, and the guy's chest opens up and chomps down his arms and cuts him off. And that was I don't know how they did that effect, but it was amazing. Watching it, I just was amazed, and of course freaked out about it.
Well, definitely not on my honorable mention list, but going back to the whole thing about the effects pulling you out of a movie. I remember I was in high school. I didn't have HBO, but I had a friend that did have HBO, and we were having a sleepover at his house. And for whatever reason, it was late at night, and I had HBO on, and Jason Takes Manhattan was on. Oh my God. I laughed my ass off at that movie. There's this one particular scene where he's up on this rooftop, and there's this big black guy, and he's like punching Jason, and he's just like hammering at him, and like he gets him to the very edge of the building. And it's at that point he's worn out. He just can't punch. He can't throw any more punches. And he tells him, take your best shot. And Jason does this one uppercut, and you see the fakest head ever just go flying through the air. And I just I think I had to stifle really gut busting laughing because I was going to wake everyone up. I'm just, oh my God, I can make a movie better than this. This was horrible. So.
Did it land in the trash can?
Oh. Yes, I think it did land in the trash can.
I think it did.
Yeah. I'm sure, because in that, that time period, they had to put that one little tweak on it. It wasn't just enough that they knocked the head off. It had to land in a trash can or something. So, well, that's our show for the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and move on to our picks and pans. Would anyone like to go first? If not, I've got two really good picks. One, Simplify 3D, which is this program that I've been using for my 3D modeling. Is freaking awesome. Like, if you have a 3D printer, go ahead and spend the $150 for the program. It is totally worth it. The other one, my other pick is this month for our book club. We're reading a book called I Am Legion. I'm sorry, We Are Legion. We Are Bob. And not only did I finish the book, I finished the sequel, and I finished the third one in the trilogy. It is so right up my alley. It's about this guy who sells his software company and literally signs up to be cryogenically frozen and then dies. And when he wakes up, he's been scanned and he's basically become a piece of software. And the first part of the book, like the first, I don't know, maybe not even third, probably the first quarter of the book, is him competing with a couple of these AIs essentially to, for this project. And what the project is futuristic. The world's pretty much kind of gone to hell. And before essentially World War III breaks out, we decide, we've made some advances in space travel. And so they upload him to this spaceship, and the whole premise is he's supposed to go out. I can't remember what it's called. Fun. I'll mess it up. But the whole idea is he's supposed to go out and clone himself, and then start, collecting resources and looking for other places to move humanity. And as he clones himself, each clone is a little bit of a variant of his personality. So it's basically kind of like different versions of yourself. And stuff that he has to deal with is just awesome. But it's very humorous. Man, if you like sci-fi, this is such a good series. The first book won a ton of awards last year when it was released. And in my opinion, it deserves every single one of them. If you're in sci-fi, go read We Are Legion, We Are Bob, and be prepared to go ahead and read the second, third one because you're going to get sucked in. You're going to love them. So, I'm sorry, you were saying what was your Peter Pan?
I can't remember now.
Oh, geez.
But no, I know the movies have already been out for a little bit, but I finally got to pick up the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Nice.
Which was pretty damn good. Michael Keaton was probably the best thing of the show or of the movie.
Michael Keaton, in my opinion, is probably the best Marvel villain.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there, if not the best.
Yeah.
Baby Driver.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah, pretty damn good. It just reminded me, but John Wick came on HBO tonight, or John Wick 2, which if you haven't seen that, that's a great action movie. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any pans other than I watched the newest Resident Evil movie, the final chapter, which was pretty terrible, but
yeah,
it's, it was fitting with the other last, I liked the first one and the second one. After that, they started getting a little retarded.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's on par for the last couple of them. So you won't be disappointed there, but yeah.
All righty then.
Definitely something they should have ended already.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. So, Chris, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Well, Stranger Things 2 comes out this week, I believe, towards the end. So we're looking forward to watching that on Netflix. And just that, what do y'all think of that Star Wars trailer that came out last week? With the
I was already sold. In fact, I almost didn't watch it. I was already so sold on it. I'm like, I don't need another trailer. I already know I'm gonna go to this movie and I'm gonna like it. But I went ahead and watched it anyway. And I think there's a lot of misdirection, which I'm fine with.
Right.
But yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure you've already got your tickets. I've already got my tickets. So
yeah, there's a lot of. I think it raised more questions than it answered, actually.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the movie poster that's come out, and they have Luke in the background, and I saw the suggestion that all villains are in the background of all the posters, and if you look at it, sure enough, it's either Vader or it's Darth Maul or whatever. So
I hadn't heard that.
That makes a good argument right there. But like I said, to me, it raised more questions than it answered. So I'm looking for.
Damn, you just blew my mind. I thought you were going to bring up the fact that everyone's pointing out that, if you just kind of blur it, it looks a little bit like Vader's mask. I thought that's sure what you were going to bring up, but I didn't even heard anything about.
To that too, if you flip it upside down and you squint your eyes just right, you can sort of make the outline of Vader. But but definitely the having Luke in the background caught my interest, and I thought, well, supposedly the end of Return of the Jedi, he was supposed to turn to the dark side, and George Lucas at the last minute decided that he wasn't going to do that. So maybe they decided to continue on with that storyline, but we'll find out in a few months.
I don't know. I
can't wait.
Between that, Thor Ragnarok, and
yes,
I'm actually excited to see Justice League. I mean, I'm not getting too hyped up on it. I'm trying to keep expectations on the down low because it is
and that's
DC.
probably a pretty good idea.
But I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it does look very interesting to me. I'm hoping they're taking a page from Marvel and doing something, interesting and fun. But yeah,
I'll just take a woman.
Yeah, I mean, you had a hit with Wonder Woman, that great movie. Just follow that formula for this new DC universe you're wanting to do. I mean,
exactly. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. But then the new Punisher trailer came out, and yeah, so I got the weekend of Thor Ragnarok off. I got that Friday off. I got the Saturday that the weekend that Justice League and Punisher comes out. So there's 2 weekends in November that I'm gonna be enjoying myself with some comic book shit.
Nice. Yeah, next weekend's gonna be big for me because next Friday is the 27th is Stranger Things 2 and Super Mario Odyssey. So my time will be eaten up quite well. So. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can find us on epicallygeeky.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Epically Geeky. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Hopefully, I don't know what the hell's going on with the show, with the streaming. I'll have to figure it out. I had it ironed out, and then all of a sudden, things have gone to hell again. But we'll figure it out. If you would, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It really does help out. You can also find the show on Stitcher and Google. Google Music. And then, of course, you can find our individual wacky adventures online as well. Jay, where can we find you online?
It is 1JRed on Instagram and Epically J on Twitter.
Chris, do you have a place we can find you online?
Oh, I'm off the grid. You can't find me anywhere.
Oh, he's off the grid. That's all good.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Just my email address, rlake@hotr.com.
Okay. And then you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site,